The power of Microsoft Word is that it's incredibly versatile. You can put text anywhere you wish. However, if you want to capture user inputs for a job application, a visa application, or patient's information in a clinic, then you need a well-structured form that puts the correct data in very specific places in the document. I am Nabil Murad. This is a very basic, frustrating form. You have no control on what or where users type. It might be good to print and fill by hand, but when it comes to an electronic form, it leaves a lot to be desired. In this tutorial, I show you how to create fabulous forms in Microsoft Word with dynamic drop lists, combo boxes, text boxes, date picker, picture selector, and checkboxes. I will then show you how to protect your form from modifications and how to distribute it to users. We have a lot to learn, so let's dive in. I want to create a pledge form for Global Giving Foundation, and like anything in life, we start by planning and writing down all the information we want to collect through our form. So I would like to collect donor information, pledge information, and I want to collect some payment information as well. So I started by writing down all the fields in a regular document, and these fields will be available in my form. My first step is to convert this plain document into a structured document, and for each block of information, I'll be creating a table. So for the first block of information, I want to create a table consisting of 5 columns and 3 rows. And to do that, I click to the right side of donor information, I hit enter, I want to insert a table, I go to the insert tab of the ribbon and click on the down arrow for insert table. I want to create a table consisting of 5 columns and 3 rows, and then I'll be putting the information and adjusting the column width. I can remove the bullets from this bulleted list to make it easier for me to copy the information. I can cut and paste the information, or I could retype it if I want. So I'm going to type name, today's date, department, location, email, extension. I delete the corresponding fields from the document. I adjust the column width by hovering over the line separating the first 2 columns. And when I see the mouse pointer changing to 2 vertical lines and 2 opposing arrows, I drag to the left. And then I want to make more room for the name column. And I drag this one to the right. Column number 3 is just a separator. And then I move this line. And I would have created my first table. I will be creating for the pledge information a table consisting of 2 columns and 6 rows. And then as I go further down, I'll be creating another table 2 columns by 2 rows. Then when I go further down, I'll be creating another table consisting of 8 columns and 1 row. Then for the acknowledgement information, I'll be creating a table consisting of 3 columns and 3 rows. And finally, for the office use information, I'll be creating a table consisting of 2 columns and 1 row. And I'll do the same exact thing, either cut or paste the information into the corresponding tables or retype the information. I created all the tables, and I either cut and paste the information into the corresponding cells or just retype it. So for the pledge information, I have the 2 columns by 6 rows. Then I have a 2 by 2. For the credit card information, I have an 8 column by 1 row. And then I have another one for the acknowledgement information, 3 columns by 3 rows. And finally, I have the last table for the office use, 7 columns by 1 row. I start by formatting the first table. So I go to the top one, and then I select the cell for the name where I'll be collecting the information related to the name, and I want to split this cell into 3 columns. Then I go to the Layout tab of the ribbon. I click on Split Cell, and I want to split it into 5 columns and 1 row. I want to split the cell where I'll be collecting today's date with a date picker into 2 cells. Then I click on Split Cell, and I split it into 2. I hit OK, and I want to repeat for the extension, I can use the repeat key of Microsoft Word, which is F4. Now I want to adjust the column width for the corresponding cells. For the name, I'll be collecting 3 pieces of information: a title, a first name, and a last name. Then we have 2 extra columns. These narrow columns will be used as a separator. Now, after adjusting the column width for the first table, I would like to remove the borders for the entire table and display only the grid lines as a guide. And I do that by clicking on the little square in the upper left corner. That allows me to select the entire table. I want to get rid of all borders. I can do that by going to the Table Design tab, and to the right side I have Borders Information. I don't want any borders, so I click on No Border. Then I go to the Layout tab, and I want to show the grid lines as a guide. And then I want to add a bottom border for some cells, and I start adding this border starting from the lower cells moving upward. I select the box for the email, and on the Table Design tab, I click on the down arrow for borders and I select bottom border, and then I select the cell above. I hit F4, the repeat key. I do the same for the first name. I hit F4. For the last name, I hit F4. For the extension, I hit F4, and then for today's date, I hit F4, and I would have finished my very first table. I would like to do the same with the remaining tables, removing some of the borders and adjusting the width in preparation for adding my controls. After formatting my tables and adjusting the column width, I want to start adding the functionality to my form. And to do that, I need to bring the Developer tab to the ribbon. I already have it, but if you don't have it, right-click on any tab and click on Customize the ribbon. The Word Option dialog box opens, and to the right side you will see the list of the different tabs. Among them you will see the Developer tab. If it's not checked, just check it. I have it already checked. Then I'm going to hit Cancel, and then I click on the Developer tab. On the controls group, I have different controls. You can see the name of the control just by hovering over it. I'll be using different types of controls, and I'll be using checkboxes as well. I start by creating a text box control, and I will need 9 of them. Let's start with the first name. I click in the cell where I'll be collecting the first name, and then I click on the Rich Text Content control. A content control has been added, and in order to edit this control, I need to switch to the design mode. I click on design mode, and then I want to start editing this text. Note, when you edit this text, do not delete it completely and start typing, because right now you will see that it's gray in color and we want to keep this. So whenever we delete the contents and we want to start refilling the form, it keeps the same functionality. Then I'm going to leave the word click, and I'll be editing the remaining text. I'll be typing first name, and then I click before the F and I hit the backspace to delete the word click. And now I can see it in gray, and that's important for the functionality. I want to edit this control and see the properties. Then on the Developer tab, I click on Properties and I open this dialog box. I want to give a title, the title that will appear whenever the user selects this control. It's kind of guiding the user to what information we expect, and for the title I'll be typing first name. I don't want anyone to delete this control. Then I'm going to check the box, Content Control cannot be deleted, and then I hit OK. Now here is my control. I see the title first name, and then I see a tag that was inherited from the title first name, and that's fine. I have to repeat the same exact process for the last name and for other text boxes as well. I want to exit the design mode, so I click on design mode, and this is what the user will see. I realize that I need to adjust the column width a little bit more, so I'll be dragging the separator in a way that I see the first name on one single line. I created the different text boxes exactly as I did for the first name. Then I have a text box for the first name, last name, work email, extension, and then I have a text box for the amount. Further down, I have a text box for the credit card number, the expiry date, and for the expiry date, I'm guiding the user to the format that should be provided by typing mm/YY, and then I have a text box for the zip code and another one for writing the name. I finished the first type of control, which is the text box. Now I want to proceed with the second type of control, which is a list box. If you know all the different options, then we use a list box. But if you don't know all the universe of options, then in this case, we want to allow the user to type as well, then we use a combo box. I'll be creating for the title a drop list that shows the different options for the title. I click in the cell for the title, and then I go to the Developer tab of the ribbon, and then I click on the drop-down list, Content Control. A content control has been added. I want to modify the text that says choose an item, and I want to control the properties and provide the different options that will appear in the drop list. And to do that, I need to switch to the design mode. On the Developer tab in the Controls group, I click on Design Mode, and then I start editing this text. I want to say Title. I just want to make sure that it remains gray in color, so if the user provides an option and then deletes this option, I can see the control back one more time. And then I want to provide these options, then I click on Properties. When I click on Properties, I need to assign a title. I can say Select Title. I don't want the control to be deleted, then I check this box, content control cannot be deleted, and then I click on Add to provide the different options from which the user can select. The first option is DR for doctor. I hit enter twice to reopen the same dialog box. I type Mr., hit enter twice, type Mrs., hit enter twice, type Miss, and you can add any options you want, and then I hit OK, and then hit OK, and I would have created my first drop list. I want to exit the design mode, and here is my drop list. If I click on the down arrow, then I see the different options, and here is the title to guide the user what information to provide. I need to create 3 other drop lists, one for the department, one for the location, and I want to go further down and create a drop list for the credit card type. After creating the drop list for the title, where the user can select from the different titles available, I created another drop list for the department. The user can select a different department, and I created a drop list for the location. And if I go further down, I also created a drop list from which the user can select a card. For each drop list, I have different options and I have a title. After creating all the list boxes, I want to create a combo box, and the difference between the combo box and the list box doesn't allow the user to type, while the combo box allows the user to type. So in case you don't know all the options available and you want to enable the user to type extra information other than what you see in the list, then we use a combo box in this case. So I scroll down, and for the payment method, I'll be creating the combo box by going to the Developer tab, and then I hover over the combo box control and give it a click. Now I want to switch to design mode to customize it. I click on design mode, and then I want to type, choose an item. That's fine. I can simply add some dots. When we see multiple dots, we understand that we have more options. That gives an indication that we could type. I want to add the options from which the user can select. Then I click on Properties. I want to give a title to the control payment method. The content control cannot be deleted. I check the box, and then I start adding options. Payroll withholding. I hit enter twice. The dialog box opens one more time to add the second option, check payable to global giving. And the last option is credit card. I hit OK and another OK. And I would have created the control. Let me check. I turn off the design mode, and now I can see the combo box. It has a title payment method. I click on the down arrow and I see the different options. My next step will be creating a date picker to collect the date. Then I scroll to the top where I want my date picker to appear. I put my blinking cursor in the cell to the right side of today's date, and on the Developer tab in the Control group, I click on Date Picker. A date picker has been inserted. I want to modify the text. Then I switch to design mode, and then I type today's date. Let's check the property of this control by clicking on Properties. The Content Control Properties dialog box opens. For the title, I'll be typing Select Date. I can apply a style if I wish. I don't want the content control to be deleted, then I check this box. I can select a date format. I will select a short date format because I don't have much space, and then I hit OK. Now let me turn off the design mode and check. If I click on the down arrow, I have a date picker. I can navigate to an older date, I can navigate to a date in the future, or I can select today's date if I wish. And if I select the date and then hit the delete key and click outside, look what happens. I have the control back, and here is the importance of keeping the original name of the control, which is gray in color. My next step will be creating some checkboxes. And here it says I would like my pledge to support the Foundation's effort in these areas and to create checkboxes. I'm going to copy this text first. Control C to copy because I'll use it for the title. I put my blinking cursor in the cell to the left side and I want to create my first checkbox. So I go to the Developer tab and click on Checkbox. And now I want to edit the text. I switch to Design mode. As we did many times for the other control, I click on Properties, and for the title, I'll be typing Anti-Bullying Initiatives. I don't want the control to be deleted, then I check the box. I can change the symbol when it's checked. By default, it's an X mark, but I can change it. This will open the Symbols dialog box. If I click on Change, it opens the Symbols dialog box, and I can select any other symbol. I'm going to select the check mark, and then I hit OK. I hit another OK, and I would have created my first checkbox. I'll be creating checkboxes for the different options, and I'll be creating one last checkbox where I go down. I wish to have my gift remain anonymous. Here, the user should be able to say yes or no through a checkbox. Now I created all the checkboxes. I have a checkbox for each option, and then I created another checkbox if the user wants the gift to remain anonymous. I created all the text boxes, all the list box, the date picker, and the combo box. The final type of control I want to create is a picture control that will enable us to add a user picture. So I scroll down, and here it says, please use this picture in the donor directory. I click in the box, I go to the Developer tab, and then I click on Picture Control. A picture control has been added. I modify it exactly like other controls. This one has a built-in functionality that will enable the user to select a picture. Then I want to switch to design mode. Then I want to change the property. I click on property. I can type, select a picture. Content control cannot be deleted. And then I hit OK. And then I turn off the design mode. Now I look at my form and I see that some of the information moved to the second page. Then I need to adjust the spaces. I can resize the picture to make more room because I don't want my form to be more than one single page. I can delete some of the spaces. And now I have my form on one single page. My next step will be testing my form. And by testing the form, I mean I need to test the functionality of each individual control. I want to test the functionality of text boxes. So if I type a name, it will stick. If I type a last name, it will be there. And if I select the text of a text box and delete it, then the original text of the text box will be restored by clicking outside. So I have last name back. I can select the list. I need to select an option. And then if I delete this option, then I have the text back. I want to test the date picker. Then I click on the down arrow for the date picker, select a date in the past or in the future, and my date picker is working fine. If I delete the text for the date picker and I click outside, then the placeholder text is restored. I test the drop list for the department. I check the drop list for the location. I can type an email in the text box and an extension. I also go through the different checkboxes. I click on one of them, click again, and it's working fine. I can also test my combo box to see if we can select and type. So if I click on the down arrow and select an option, let's say credit card, I want to change this option and I want to type, then I'll be typing, let's say, cash or PayPal or any other payment option. If I delete the text and click outside, then the placeholder text is restored. I'm checking each individual control, and then I want to test my picture control. If I click on the center of the picture control, I want to select a picture from file, and I'll be selecting my picture, and then I hit insert, and the picture control is working fine. It resizes automatically. It's a good practice when testing to give the form to someone who didn't create it to test each individual element of the form. After testing each individual control in my form, now I don't want anyone to modify my form, then I want to protect it. There is a classic way of protection and a modern way of protection. The classic way is to go to the Review tab of the ribbon. I click on Restrict Editing, and I just want to allow editing a form. Then I check this box. I click on the down arrow and select Filling in Forms. And then I start reinforcing and provide a password if I want. If I click on Yes, start reinforcing, and then I can provide a password and retype the password one more time. That's the classic way of protection. I'm not going to do this because we have a much more simple way of protection which requires selecting everything you have on your form. Then I click somewhere in the form and then I hit Control A. A stands for all, and all what you need to do to protect your form is to group all the elements. So I go to the Developer tab one more time. I click on the down arrow for Group and I click on Group. Now let's test deleting a control or deleting any text. So if I select this control and then I try to delete by hitting the delete key, I can't do that. I try with another control, let it be the date picker. I want to delete it, I can't. What about the text? What if I want to delete this text? If I hit the backspace, I can't delete it. Now my form is protected. Now the last part of the process is to distribute this form. I can send it by email because it's a digital form, but it's a good practice to save it as a template so that I can create as many forms out of this template whenever I need. So I'm going to save my form as a template. It could be on my local machine, it could be on a SharePoint site, it could be on OneDrive. I click on File, Save As, and I want to save it as a template. Then I click on the down arrow for the format and I select Word template.docx. I give it a name, Global Giving, and then I hit Save. Now after protecting and saving my form as a template, I want to create a new form and fill it up. So I'm going to open a new document by clicking on File, click on New, and because I saved it as a template, then I go to the Personal tab, and here I will find the Global Giving template that I just saved. I give it a click, and look what happens. It doesn't open a template, it opens document 1 based on this template. I can send it out to users, I can share it with others, and I fill it up and send it back to me after naming it. So the original template is unaffected, and I'm able to create as many forms as I want. In this tutorial, we learned how to create a structured document to capture information in specific places in the document for any purpose we want. We learned how to use the different types of controls, how to protect our form, and how to distribute this form. If you found value in this tutorial, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel to be notified when new tutorials are released. The best is yet to come. Thanks for watching and see you next time.